What if the greatest battle you will ever fight has nothing to do with your career, your relationships, or your circumstances? What if it's the battle between your impulses and your intentions? Most people believe self-control means constantly resisting temptation. They think discipline is about forcing yourself to do things you hate. But the samurai understood something very different. For centuries, these warriors lived under unimaginable pressure. A single careless decision could cost them everything. Yet history remembers them not because they were fearless, but because they mastered something far more difficult than combat. They mastered themselves. The surprising part is that this wasn't achieved through endless willpower. It wasn't built on motivation or emotional highs. It came from a way of living that transformed self-control into something almost effortless. Today, distractions are everywhere. Every notification competes for your attention. Every impulse demands immediate satisfaction. Most people spend their lives reacting instead of choosing. But the samurai discovered principles that allowed them to remain calm while others panicked, focused while others became distracted, and disciplined when everyone else surrendered to comfort. By the end of this video, you'll understand what they knew about self-control that most people never learn, and why this ancient wisdom may be more relevant today than ever before. To understand the samurai, we first have to let go of a common misconception. Popular culture often portrays them as fearless swordsmen whose lives revolved around combat. While they were elite warriors, their identity went far beyond fighting. The ideal samurai followed Bushido, the way of the warrior. Bushido was not simply a military code. It was a philosophy that demanded integrity, loyalty, courage, respect, and above all, mastery over one's own mind. Centuries later, Miyamoto Musashi, one of Japan's greatest swordsmen, would reinforce this idea in the Book of Five Rings. Although famous for winning dozens of duels, Musashi repeatedly emphasized that true victory begins within. The samurai understood a truth that modern life constantly tries to make us forget. Your greatest enemy rarely stands in front of you. More often, it lives inside you. It appears as procrastination. It whispers through anger. It disguises itself as comfort. It convinces you to delay difficult decisions. The samurai knew that anyone could defeat another person under the right circumstances. Very few could consistently defeat themselves. That is why their lessons still matter today. Let's begin with the foundation of everything they believed. Lesson 1. Control begins before the battle. Most people wait until temptation appears before trying to become disciplined. The samurai thought that approach was already too late. Preparation always came before action. A warrior did not wait until standing on the battlefield to train his mind. His habits were formed long before the sword was drawn. This idea changes everything. Think about your own life. Do you wait until you're exhausted before deciding to avoid distractions? Do you promise yourself you'll stop scrolling once you've already picked up your phone? Do you decide to eat healthier only after unhealthy food is sitting in front of you? The samurai would say you've already entered the battle unprepared. Self-control is not built during moments of temptation. It is built during moments of peace. Every routine you establish quietly shapes your future decisions. Every environment you create either strengthens or weakens your discipline. Instead of relying on willpower, the samurai relied on preparation. Modern life rewards convenience. The samurai rewarded readiness. And once you understand that difference, another powerful lesson begins to emerge. Lesson 2. Emotion is a terrible commander. Imagine standing in a duel where one emotional mistake could end your life. Panic would be fatal. Anger would cloud judgment. Fear would slow your reaction. The samurai trained to notice emotions without allowing those emotions to dictate their actions. This does not mean they became emotionless. It means emotions became information rather than commands. This is one of the most misunderstood aspects of self-control. People often think discipline means suppressing feelings. The samurai understood something subtler. You can feel fear without obeying fear. You can feel frustration without becoming destructive. You can feel temptation without surrendering to it. Miyamoto Musashi warned against becoming attached to emotions during conflict because attachment narrows perception. When emotion controls your attention, you stop seeing reality clearly. Think about modern arguments. A single angry comment online can ruin someone's entire day. An impulsive email can damage years of professional trust. One emotional purchase can create months of financial stress. The emotion isn't the problem. The automatic reaction is. The samurai practiced creating space between feeling and action. That tiny space is where self-control lives. But there is another obstacle that quietly destroys discipline long before emotions appear. Lesson 3. Comfort is the silent opponent. Most enemies announce themselves. Comfort rarely does. Comfort feels harmless. It tells you to skip today's workout, delay tomorrow's difficult conversation, sleep a little longer, practice less, prepare later. One decision seems insignificant, but the samurai understood that character is shaped through countless ordinary choices. Bushido emphasized constant refinement. There was no finish line. Discipline wasn't something achieved once. It was renewed every day. Modern culture often tells us to seek the easiest path. The samurai intentionally practiced difficult things because difficulty exposed weakness before real challenges arrived. This wasn't punishment. It was preparation. Imagine two people facing unexpected hardship. One has spent years avoiding discomfort. The other has regularly chosen discipline over convenience. Who adapts faster? Who remains calmer? Who keeps moving when motivation disappears? The answer has very little to do with talent. It has everything to do with training. And this leads directly to one of the deepest principles the samurai embraced. Lesson 4. Identity shapes behavior. Many people ask, how can I become more disciplined? The samurai asked a different question. What kind of person am I becoming? This distinction changes everything. If your behavior constantly depends on motivation, your discipline will always be temporary. But if discipline becomes part of your identity, your decisions begin to change naturally. A samurai did not wake up deciding whether to live honorably. Honor defined who he believed himself to be. Every action reflected that identity. Today, many people make promises based on temporary emotions. They say they'll start tomorrow, next week, next month. The samurai focused less on dramatic change and more on daily consistency. Each small action reinforced identity. Every promise kept strengthened trust in oneself. Every promise broken weakened it. Eventually, self-control stopped feeling like sacrifice. It became self-respect. But identity alone isn't enough. Because even disciplined people eventually face failure. The samurai understood that better than anyone. Lesson 5. Failure is part of training. No warrior wins every battle. No craftsman creates perfection immediately. No disciplined person avoids mistakes forever. The difference lies in what happens next. Failure humiliates those whose pride depends on appearing perfect. It teaches those whose goal is continual improvement. The samurai viewed mistakes as instruction rather than permanent identity. This mindset prevented one bad decision from becoming a destructive pattern. Think about someone trying to build healthier habits. One missed workout becomes, I've already failed. One unhealthy meal becomes, I'll start again next month. The samurai rejected this thinking. A stumble did not erase years of discipline. Correction mattered more than guilt. This perspective creates resilience. Instead of asking, why did I fail? Ask, what can this teach me before I face the next challenge? Every setback becomes preparation instead of defeat. And once you understand this, one final lesson begins to reveal itself. Lesson 6. The strongest warrior needs no audience. Modern life encourages performance. People often chase recognition before mastery. They want applause before discipline, validation before competence. The samurai understood something profoundly different. Real strength exists whether anyone notices it or not. Training happened before sunrise. Practice continued without spectators. Character revealed itself in private moments. Bushido emphasized sincerity because appearances cannot replace substance. Ask yourself this. Would you still pursue excellence if no one could ever praise you? Would you still keep your promises if nobody knew? That question reveals the true foundation of self-control. When discipline depends on external approval, it disappears the moment approval fades. When discipline comes from internal principles, it remains steady through success and failure alike. This quiet consistency separated true warriors from those who merely looked impressive. And now we arrive at the lesson that ties everything together. Perhaps the greatest secret the samurai understood is this: self-control is not about becoming harder. It is about becoming clearer. Clear about your values. Clear about your purpose. Clear about the person you refuse to stop becoming. Everything else flows from that clarity. When purpose is weak, every distraction feels powerful. When purpose is strong, distractions lose much of their influence. The samurai didn't spend every day fighting temptation. They spent every day strengthening the person who faced temptation. That is an enormous difference. Most people try to control individual behaviors while ignoring the identity behind those behaviors. The samurai worked from the inside out. Their rituals reinforced discipline. Their discipline reinforced character. Their character guided decisions. And those decisions shaped an extraordinary life. This is why their wisdom has survived centuries. Technology changes. Society changes. The human mind does not. We still struggle with fear. We still wrestle with comfort. We still battle distraction. The weapons have changed. The battlefield has changed. But the real conflict remains exactly the same. Every morning presents the same invisible duel. Will your impulses lead your life? Or will your principles? The samurai answered that question every single day, not with words, but with action. The greatest lesson the samurai left behind isn't about swordsmanship. It's about self-mastery. They understood that preparation is stronger than willpower, that emotions should be observed, not obeyed, that comfort quietly weakens discipline, that identity shapes behavior, that failure teaches more than perfection, and that true strength does not need an audience. These principles were never meant only for warriors. They were meant for anyone who wants to live intentionally instead of reactively. Every decision you make today becomes part of the person you'll be tomorrow. Every habit is a vote for your future character. Every moment of self-control is more than resisting temptation. It's practicing the kind of person you choose to become. The samurai knew that no one can win every battle in life, but anyone can choose how they prepare for the next one. And perhaps that's the deepest form of freedom anyone can achieve. If this video gave you a new perspective on self-control and the wisdom of the samurai, let us know in the comments which lesson challenged your thinking the most. If you found value here, don't forget to like the video, subscribe for more timeless lessons from history, and share it with someone who is ready to master themselves before trying to master the world.